It is now my honor to introduce this year's Salutatorian, Ryan Latham. Worn many hats during his time here at RMA. His resume boasts a history of academic excellence, leadership positions in nearly every arena. Look at his chest and all the medals he has. To include high-ranking positions in academic honor societies, president list status, deputy group commander, band commander, and drum major appointments. He also has a varsity athlete status in soccer and tennis. Please know this brief list only scratches the surface of this young man's accomplishments. Needless to say, Ryan is an all-around great representative of what we hope our students to become and achieve at Randolph-Macon Academy. Please help me in welcoming this year's Salutatorian, Ryan Latham.
Good evening, friends, family, distinguished guests, and most of all, the class of 2018. I'm honored to have the privilege tonight of being second best. Congrats to tomorrow's valedictorian. With that comes the responsibility of writing a better speech, because what I've always heard is that the salutatorian speech is better. So let's hope I've done enough to impress you. Then again, given this is an event in the chapel, most of you should be lowering your heads and pretending not to drift off to sleep. But since you all seem interested, I'll give it the old college try. Let me begin by congratulating the class of 2018 on almost making it. And with hours being counted instead of days, doing the most math they've done all year. The end is bittersweet for me. On one hand, I'm venturing off bravely to the rest of my life at UEA and beyond. On the other, I'm leaving RMA, which has really become my second home. When other people say RMA life, they mean the old RMA website or their email. When I say it, I mean my life. Being here, basically since birth, has given me a great attachment to this place. I have been here practically my entire life, and even pretended to march like the drum major for the band, maybe 10 years before I became freshman drum major, and realized my dream. Coming to RMA, I still had no idea what it would actually be like, that I needed to get a haircut and wear an AFJROTC uniform. I was nervous about making new friends and fitting in, and wondered what military school would be like. I thought it would be okay, but had a lingering image of movie or TV depictions of military school. Boy, was I wrong. RMA was not just okay, but fantastic. I made friends, enjoyed my classes, and really absorbed everything around me. I began to take up the opportunities around me and really came out of my shell. Now looking back on all I've achieved, I realized that I would not have accomplished those achievements or even be standing before you today without the close-knit community here at RMA and the support of my family, faculty, and friends. Looking back, I see the path of our class was not easy. We toiled through the dreary winters where no one wants to get anything done, grades fail, and tensions rise. With the feeling that the year will never come to an end, that goal of make it to May seemed insurmountable, yet we pressed on. This speaks to the drive within us, which pushed us to new heights, let us grow within, and let us rise to the challenge of leadership. Our cadre turned the culture of the school around, from an about face to a full sprint. Never before were cadre saluted. Never before did we step off correctly without taking half steps at the beginning. And never before did we lead through, not through the threat of punishment, but through encouragement. With all this, we pushed through change. New advisors and faculty gave us a different way of doing things that were unfamiliar to us, yet we adapted. The Honor Code gave us culture shock, but again, we adapted. We have grown the National Honor Society in number and made sure we improved upon our staple events as well as bringing new ones. Before our class, International Day did not exist. And now, through the work in combination with the NHS and International Club, it's bigger than ever before. We embrace our cultures and what made each of us different, including food, performances, and fashion. I always look forward to the jollof rice from Nigeria. I was even lucky enough to get some Chinese food before it disappeared this year. I have to say, International Day is my favorite part of the year. It always amazes me the amount of diversity I see in a room at RMA, with everyone smiling and having a good time. The event is amazing, but I must say the impact is even more important. We have raised thousands of dollars for UNICEF through International Day, the NHS International Club, CIA, and French Honor Society have been raising money throughout the year as well. Our class has been motivated to fund change. We have gone out in our local community twice this year for our community service days and have done amazing work, but the scope is much larger. The funds we raise impact people globally and make change in our world. I'd like to shout out first to my day ones, and by that, I mean the lifers. Even if we aren't as close now, we all share a common bond that's kept us together as we had each other's backs. Michael and Dylan, I remember the first day when we sat together at lunch and our many times playing Call of Duty, Nerf, or Airsoft at sleepovers while yelling and laughing like crazy. Kate, my SCA co-president, we ran that middle school and made it the best year I've had down there. Your ideas and drive were amazing, and I'll always remember those days of getting Mr. Lazier to let us wear civilian clothes as a fundraiser. Mimi, having you on the middle school SCA, junior bank, or John, Ryan, Bailey, Angel, Naomi, Kate, what it stands for, was awesome. And working with you in Sloan's class this year has been amazing. You're a valuable part of our team and cranked out reports and that anthem like crazy. Sarah, we have been good friends over the years. You make me laugh with your funny or sarcastic comments, and you were an awesome teammate in soccer in the middle school, and you killed it on varsity at the upper school. Kimmy, I always enjoy talking with you, and having classes with you has always been a joy. You speak your mind, and I respect that a lot. Samuel, Squidward. You may have come with the semester, but I'm happy to include you in this group. You have been one of my closest friends throughout the years, as we argued in the middle school, and after I proved you wrong, you insisted that that's actually what you had said, and that I was wrong. Alenda, you may have missed 7th grade, but I'll forgive you, because you're going to UVA with me next year. And if I knew how bad my attempt at a mustache would have been in 7th grade, I would have run too. We have been here for 7 whole years and have seen the whole school change around us. We were one of the first classes to wear Nike Torch floors in the middle school instead of brown dress shoes, and the only ones who knew who Mr. Latham was. We all took McManus math class and then marched for Colonel McManus a couple of years later. We were one of the last to play basketball for Mr. Curl, and we dropped for push-ups or set running tours. Thank you to all of my teachers and the faculty and staff that have supported me throughout my time here. I'll have to start way back with this list, so bear with me. Thank you, Ms. McManus, for teaching me algebra and being so supportive of all us in the middle school. Thank you to Mr. Curl for teaching me grammar with Holtz and LNSSP as your preferred torture methods, but also teaching me to give it my all and be aggressive on the basketball court, even if that aggressiveness was from the bench. Thank you to Mr. Davies for teaching me not to skip the reading, Ms. Schoonover for teaching me to argue, and Mr. Sloan for teaching me how to write, and write, and write. Thank you to Mr. Barr for teaching me math in a way that I could understand and apply for 4 whole years. You must be tired of me at this point, but I don't think I will ever get tired of your antics, which kept me awake and made me laugh in the middle of any particularly long lecture. I'll never forget the day that Ben put a frog on your head, or the days that you chased Haru around the room holding a fake bug, or even a real bug. No one knowing that question when you asked me, and being the last to answer, always made me laugh. That might be the reason I'm up here now, although I did only get a 3 on my AP exam. Shout out to Colonel Casarino for teaching me physics, preparing me to be an engineer, helping me build a ukulele, and helping me learn how to program in Python. Now, this wouldn't be a good RMA speech if I didn't thank Mr. Barber and complain about his paper. Although this year, there's no need for the latter. Your 4-page paper was maybe harder to cram all 3 pages of my research sources into, but is a much appreciated relief from the massive looming 10-page assignment we had before me. On a completely unrelated note, congratulations on the birth of your baby boy. He's a blessing to us all. For real though, congratulations on your baby, and thank you for actually making me enjoy history class. No offense, Mr. Harriman, Chaplain Wondorf, or Dr. Cousineau. I'm sure you all would have been better than DYE. And for you, Chaplain, I'm sorry I skipped your class, since I had been in Sunday school since I was 6. Because 5 days of classes weren't enough for me. That's why this quarter has been amazing. Many of the teachers behind me have managed to make a 5-day school week feel like 8 days of work. I'm looking at you, Mr. Sloan. Sergeant Knight, thank you for being a mentor to our whole class. We came to you with our problems and troubles, and you helped us through everything. We were your first class and your little chicklings. You set us on the right path, and were there for us when we fell off of it. Thanks for taking care of us as we get ready to leave the nest. General Wesley, I'd first like to apologize for messing up the General's March somehow every time I had to play it for you. And thank you for your support of the Honor Council and the band through every time. Thank you, Dean Nizal, for being my mentor these past 4 years and supporting me while teaching me manners and study skills. You may now be Vice President Nizal, but at this point, your name has practically become Dean to me. Finally, thank you, Mr. Richards. You've been the one teacher I've had every single year of my RMA career, and one of my favorites. You inspired me to lead by example and to take care of my people. You telling us that we can pull our ties down when you have your tie pulled down taught me what it meant to lead by example. Throughout years of learning, I've become a much better musician and a better person thanks to you. I've also learned never forget the drum harnesses. Apple Blossom did not go well with General Wesley having to drive back to get them. I'm sorry that every year I was here except this one, we forgot something at Apple Blossom. And again, sorry to General Wesley for making you rush back to campus. This taught me something Colonel Quattroni often referred to as trust and verify. I have learned how to efficiently lead a team from our many trips and become especially good at what I lovingly refer to as bus Tetris. I'm not sure how repacking a bus with an impending tornado will translate to other life skills, but we sure did it fast. Along with this, I learned a lot of life lessons at RMA and grew closer to my other band members. That stormy night when we arrived at the hotel in Orlando, Jacob, Noel, and I set out to clean the bus and repack the instruments for an upcoming performance. We ran back through the rain as it was getting heavier and ran inside. Later that night, we learned that the storm became a tornado after it wiped out the power in the hotel. Instead of being bored or whining, we all gathered in the hallway of the elevator and played werewolf for hours. I not only learned the game, but got to know my friends much better. We all laughed and told jokes all night. That's one of the most important things I've learned. It doesn't take Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, or any other social media to make friendships. Real connection comes through interactions, not distractions. It comes from difficulty and hardship that bring people together, but also the fun and laughter had in remembering those times and the fun of being with one another. Thank you to all the friends I've made here for always being there for me. Thanks for putting up with my bad puns and my strange faces. Shout out to Alan, Boop, Sophie, Izzy, Datway, Gabe, me voy a estrecharte la mano. No, Jill, Tele, James Reed, Matthew Feather, Shanna, Young Kai Bing, Sunny, Hedgehog Cats. Grayson and the Falcons. And shout out to everyone else I've become friends with over the years. I'm sorry if I missed anyone, because I consider so many of you my friends. Oh, and I can't forget one of my best friends, Teho, 감자, papa, patata, tudo, pomme de terre, kartoffel, and for you English speakers, potato. Now, I can't stand up here without admitting that my number on my letter jacket, number 23, is probably the amount of goals I have conceded in soccer. And Tejo, you are the best manager we've ever had. I'd like to give a special thank you to our amazing corps commander, Victoria Bella. Vic, you've been one of my best friends all the way through the upper school. You've been there through the bad times and the good. You have driven me to be the best I can be in everything that I do. You're truly an amazing woman, and I know you would go on to do great things in San Diego. I love you with all my heart. Thank you, most of all, to my family, Mom, Dad, Grandpa, Nina. You've all been there for me through everything I've done. Thank you for coming out to support my soccer, my music, and everything else I do. I wouldn't be here without your support. Dad, you're the reason I came here, and I can't thank you enough for it. RMA has shaped me into a man of character and morals. Mom, thanks for making the drive out here to be there for every soccer game you could, and every important event, and always cheering me on, even if it was in the rain. Class of 2018, thank you for being my family. Thank you for joining all of us on our journey through RMA. Whether you've been here the whole time or walked through the doors of the gym for the first time this year, you have made this school and this experience one we will cherish for a lifetime. Now, people always say they never remember their graduation speaker, but since this isn't a graduation speech, I expect all of you to remember exactly what I said. Or at least smile and pretend you know what I'm talking about at our 30-year reunion. Saturday, we'll go on to graduate as a family, a community of individuals from very different backgrounds and beliefs, and a group of scholars. From every brand new trophy in the JROTC cabinets to the shining example we have made to those looking at us from the outside. We have showcased our potential, our work ethic, our drive, and our ability to rise to any occasion and meet challenges head on. Never forget the values you learned, the experiences you had, and the people you met here. Take them with you to college or whatever you decide to go, and use your skills to make yourself stronger, wiser, and more adept in whichever pursuits you take on. We are the class of 2018, and we have risen. Thank you